Can you grab it?
Yeah, both of them.
Either one. Thank you.
No, we don't want to give no advertisement to anybody.
Nah, you not at all.
No,
not
we're
at
not.
all.
We're not doing that. We're doing that. We're gonna try to not have it to where it's in front of your face, but
Yeah, straight. I'm sure they can. Yeah, that should still pick it up though, because these are pretty strong. So we won't necessarily need it to be directly. It's because that's right there. Yeah, that's right. I may do. That's cool.
Well, hello there, and welcome to the Dana Spencer Show, where we talk about solving problems, building relationships, quitting corporate, and the freedom to walk in your God-given purpose. How are we feeling today? I hope you are feeling amazing because I am super excited, as you can already tell. We have a rock star right here in our presence today on the Dana Spencer Show. Yes, Deuce, I'm talking about you. So without any further ado, I want to introduce to some and bring to others Mr. Deuce Deal. What's up? How we feeling?
I'm feeling rich. How you feeling?
I'm feeling rich as well. So we're just gonna jump right in. So Deuce, tell us. Now I've seen some of your social media posts, right? Okay. And so let's start off with the beginning. Who is Deuce, and what do you want our viewers to know about Deuce today?
Okay, my name is Deuce. I'm a real estate agent, but first and foremost, I'm a child of God. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I feel like I'm a problem solver. That's really what I've been doing my whole life. I've just been solving problems. Some people used to call it a middleman, whatever you want to call it. I'm just really good at solving problems, and it just so happens that I found a career where I can become the problem solver for other people and help them. So yeah, that's it. I don't know. That's really what it is. I'm just here to help people build generational wealth, have like healthy family relationships, and just like think about things in a different way.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Because when I bought my first investment property, what I realized was real estate was just solving problems. And it's just one problem after another. And if you don't like solving problems, trust me, you will not like any part of real estate. An agent, being an investor, you won't like it at all. But here's the secret is surrounding yourself with the people that will help you to solve those problems. And then it's fun. Right. So, all right. So when I saw one post, I believe, where you talked about at one point you all were on Section 8 as a family. So yes. Talk about that a little bit. What was that like being on Section 8?
Okay, so we grew up moving around a lot, but mostly we was just like in the projects. We was in Southwood. We lived in Village West. We were just on Section 8 where you just you don't have to pay for the full amount, like market value, but you pay what you can afford, and then the government gives you the assistance on it. But with that, it comes a lot of strings, and it comes a lot of things that you're not able to do or grow outside of. And if you begin to make too much money, then they take it away from you. So it's the balance of that. But we didn't really have no foundation at all growing up, like having somewhere to live at. We moved around probably every other year my whole life. So just not being, I didn't realize how important it was until I grew up that we didn't have a foundation. I didn't realize how meaningful having a house that you know you're going to be at, that you can actually build roots like in that neighborhood or in that community. Like we moved so much, we didn't even decorate our rooms after like middle school because we knew like we ain't gonna be here that long. So
wow.
You can put a TV right there, put your clothes in the closet, but there ain't no point of decorating because we ain't gonna be here long.
Wow. And then you said it wasn't I think our people do an amazing job with not acting like anything is a big deal. Like you said, you didn't even know until you were an adult, like, oh, I didn't have that stability. And you just rode with it. You just did what you had to do.
Yes, because you don't know what you don't know. So it's kind of like I use the analogy all the time for different things, but think about when you like in the bathroom, handling your business, doing number two. you don't realize how bad it smells until you leave out, and then you try to come back in to get something. You like, that was me. I was there. I was a ooh. But if you just stay in there and never leave out, or you never would realize how bad that smells compared to something else. So you never realize how not say how bad your life was, but how many struggles you have you had in your life until you see and compare it to other people's, until you start to compare it to yourself as you obtain new knowledge.
I love that. I'm gonna have to say that one. That was
you feel me? Because it's something everybody can relate to. Everybody knows when you in there, it's one thing, but when you
it's
leave
not
out,
that bad.
But then when you leave out,
and you forgot something, and you got to go back in.
You're like, man, who is? And you look around, you're the only one home. It can't be nobody but you.
Wow, I love that. Yeah, I'm probably gonna use that one. That's
use
really
that.
good.
Put that in your back pocket.
Yeah, I definitely will. So, okay, you were moving around a lot, and now you are headed to college. You're in high school. Tell us about high school.
Okay, so high school, I went to Further High School, and we actually, for whatever reason, that was our home school, which was like a 35-minute drive to school. I don't know how that was our home school, but it was. So just how we would have to do certain things compared to like the other players on the team who lived out that way, who most of their parents did own, you just see like the gap in like lifestyle. It was a big deal. So as I got older, I started to realize it, because then you start realizing like, all right, Dad, like we are probably out a little broken in most we probably ain't doing like how everybody else is doing. But like for whatever reason, we just made do. So since I played football, it just always gave us an outlet to be able to let go of frustration, stress, have some type of goal that you chasing, something that you're trying to obtain, and then just being competitive at everything. It just made things better for the moment.
Yeah, there's so many life lessons with sports. So, were you at Fairdale for all 4 years?
Yes, ma'am. All 4 years.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and you touched on a couple, but in terms of life lessons that you learned from playing football, being competitive, what are some of the other life lessons that you learned from football?
Understanding that sometimes you just got to play your role. So I was an offensive lineman, defensive lineman, linebacker, tight end, and fullback. I played a lot of different positions, but most of the positions that I played, they're not like the positions everybody praise, or the NFL doesn't pay them top dollars. Not the ones everybody focus on. But you have to do your part. You got to still show up every day and give it all that you got. Because if you don't do your part, it's gonna make it harder for your teammate to accomplish what they got to accomplish. So I feel like it made me a lot more humble than other positions, because we know as a lineman, don't nobody care about nothing that you're doing. But if you miss a block, they gonna dog you out. If you do a good block 7 times out of 8, they only gonna remember that one block you miss on the. So it's like you gotta wake up every day, give it all that you got, and just do your part. Because if you don't do your part, it's gonna make it hard on the other people to do theirs.
That is so good. I mean, and I believe obviously how you do anything is how you do everything. And so having that foundation, I can hear how applicable that is to so many areas of your life. And so if you don't have that foundation of, I got to set up other people, then it's all about yourself. I'm not a team player. Everybody needs to play football.
Everybody needs to either play football or do some type of sport. Like even if you don't, because obviously females can't play football as much as men, but there's other things they can play: softball, volleyball, basketball, even with archery. Shoot, you just got to get on being some type of team sport or team activity, because it does teach you about coming together. It does teach you about playing your part, and also help you control your emotions and everything else too. Because when you playing sports, it's only certain amount. It's only so much you can control. So you got to learn to only control what you can control. And if you upset that something happened, it's like, well, hey, get ready for the next play, because it might happen again.
So tell us about a time, I don't know, maybe if you lost a game or something where you had to really, 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 really control your emotions.
Man, so listen, I got a couple of them. The main one, when I first started, so I grew up playing football for the Yellow Jackets. Y'all know about the Yellow Jackets. Yep.
Everybody wanted to play for the Yellow
Exactly.
Jackets.
So we got like 7 super classes, I think. So I'm not used to losing. I'm used to winning. I'm used to being competitive. I'm used to winning the season. winning in the playoffs, going to play against other teams in other states, beating them to. And then my first year in high school as a freshman.
Oh, and Ferdo wasn't the best team
So
most years.
so my freshman year, I get out here. Like I said, I'm used to winning championship. We used to win. We get out here, we done lost the first 4 games. It was so bad, I don't even want to put the UR on there. Just 4. We lost the first 4 games. 3 of them games we didn't even score. So it's like, okay, but because I'm used to like this type of setting, as far as still waking up every day, giving it all that you got, no matter what happened on the last play, you still got to give it all that you got on this play. It taught me like, bro, sometimes you might not be on the winning team, but you still have to give it all that you got, because even if your team is not getting better, you got to become who you are supposed to become. Because regardless of what they're doing in the off season or what they're doing outside of practice, you still got to give it all that you got. You still got to become somebody. Because if you stop or give up sophomore year, the person you were supposed to become your senior year is going to hurt if they're not there. There's other players around you who might be looking for your leadership, who might be looking for your like spiritual insight, who might be looking for your guidance on what to do, or who might just need your energy there to motivate everybody else to keep going. If you're not there, then what's gonna happen? It's like Draymond Green. People don't think he's the best player in the league. He might not be the biggest, the strongest, the fastest, or whatever. But if you ask anybody in the Golden State Warriors office or team, they're gonna let you know he's the heart and soul. He's the energy of that. So if he allowed them people to tell him he was too small to play his position, he wasn't fast enough to play this. If he allowed any of them to penetrate his mind, he wouldn't be who he is. Which in return, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and them they wouldn't have got all them championships because they need Draymond to do what he does.
Right.
So it's just kind of where I'm at with it.
And that's part of the flight assessment that we talk about. Their behavioral preferences, and there are some people who are those support players that they're not going to necessarily score all the points. Right. You think about Dennis Rodman; they're not going to score the points, but you need them, and they are so critical to your success.
Definitely.
So what about the conditioning? Football, you got to work out in the summertime. It's hot. You got to run. My son used to play for the Shawnee Jaguars.
Oh,
and they didn't have a winning season at all either.
Yeah.
And I can remember the practice was at Shawnee Park, and there was a tree called Big Ben. Oh my goodness, this was over 30 years ago. There was a Big Ben, and if you were late, you had to run to Big Ben. If you misbehaved, you had to run to Big Ben. So what was some of that conditioning like?
Torture. Y'all see, I'm not a small guy. I've been big my whole life. I've actually been a lot bigger than what I am now. But yeah, we had to run. Like there was no. And back then it wasn't all these rules and regulations that they got now. Like we practiced in the heat, 105 degrees, fully dressed, full equipment, running sprints. And if you don't get her across this line by the time that is allotted, it don't count. Go back and do it again. So that really taught me, like, okay, this is something I'm not really good at, but I got to do it if I want to play. It's certain things that you might not like every aspect of your career or every aspect of your life or every aspect of whatever that you're doing. But the totality of it is you want to be involved of it. So you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes you just got to suck it up and push through. Because sometimes, like from just how I look at things and what I've learned, sometimes we run away from the pain, but the pain is really what's going to help us get to that next level. If you push through the pain, there's something that comes on the other side of that you learn from, that you grow from, to help you become better. Like they always say, if it don't kill you, it make you stronger. Yeah, so we got to keep that in mind. Don't, like, when things start to get tough or things don't work out in your favor, if you give up, you'll never learn what you're supposed to learn in that situation.
So as mothers, and we probably about to step on some toes on this one. So as mothers, obviously I'm a parent of a son.
Okay.
And we want to protect our children. We don't want them to go through hurt. Maybe we didn't realize the importance of going through the pain. How do you feel like being softer than maybe what you experienced through conditioning or whatever, being softer on this generation? How is that hurting our young men?
It's hurting them because it's giving them a crutch. We're not pushing them. We're not giving them a level of expectation. We're not providing them with the tools that they're gonna need in life. So, and I know a lot of times with mothers, they do tend to be more uh, tender, I would say, towards their sons. But think about this: they're not going to always be in your household. They're not going to
Mm.
always be under your protection. They're not going to always be like you're not going to always be able to protect them. So you gotta be able to provide them with environments and skills, mindsets, like foundations, stuff that they will need to go be prosperous adults. The kid part, I mean, that's cool, but they only gonna be here for 18 years, maybe in your house. They gonna be in the world for the rest of their life.
Right. Yeah.
So we have to we gotta stop babyfying them. Just to be all the way honest, we gotta stop making excuses for them. We gotta stop telling them everything's gonna be okay. You don't have to no,
There's
everything.
always a winner.
Yeah, no. If you don't win, that's because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Instead of pacifying them, make them go out and do it again. Make them try harder. Make them give them a go. Give them something else that they have to obtain. Because if they don't have anything they're pushing for or striving for, they're gonna wake up and just let the day happen.
Right. Right. All right. So you spend your 4 years at Fairdale.
Yeah.
You pushed through that. Did you all ever have a winning season?
Yeah, we did. So my freshman team did not have a winning season.
Okay.
But the varsity team, our varsity team had a good season. We had three Mr. Football candidates. We had Doug Cherry, then Maurice Grinner was Mr. Football candidate back to back. Yeah, we had some good seasons. We went to the playoffs. We lost one game, but we lost to Bull County. If anybody played football in Kentucky, y'all know about Bull County. Man, them people was like the gridiron gang on us. But we still the fact that we still was able to play them the way that we played them. We lost. We always I ain't gonna say it was cool, but we know we gave it all we got, and it made us go home okay.
We did our when there's a difference between there's this conversation now between doing your best and getting the job done.
Yes, two different things.
Yeah.
Because trust me, the coaches wasn't hearing no, y'all did good job. No, you missed a block, you dropped that one, you didn't look at who you were supposed to look at, you didn't block like you were supposed to do. You it was still it wasn't none of it. Our coaches in here, shout out to Mike Gossett, Coach Gossett, Coach Jackson. Hey, they wasn't hearing none of it. And we still had to run. And so Bull County's almost an hour drive. So imagine us playing a full game, losing, and then having to run sprints when we get back. Because the season's over. We didn't lost. So we would have won that game. We could have went to the championship. We didn't win, so we did go to the championship. But you know what we did do? Random sprints. Random gases.
How important, and you just gave shout outs to your coach, how important is it for young men to have a good influence in their life, whether it's a coach, whether it's a dad, whether it's a principal, a counselor, a mentor? Yeah. How important is that?
It's definitely important. It's definitely vital because whoever that they're looking up to or whoever's around them who's a male counterpart, that's going to help change the trajectory. It could be two brothers in the same household. One of them could tend more to a uncle who's in the streets, another who could tend more to the uncle who's in business. The one who's uncle who's in business, that son is going to probably do better than the one who's in the streets because their goals and their mindsets is going to be different. They can have the same skills, the same opportunities and everything, but the energy that they're putting into this over here is going to be different from the person putting the energy over here. We know what the streets is going to get you. We know where you're going to end up. It's either jail or death. It ain't that much, and you don't get to pick when you get either. It's going to pick you. On this side over here, we know, okay, you got more opportunities to do this. You can do this. You can do. So it's definitely vital. And I know growing up, I had a couple of them who stepped up, who didn't have to. Like my Uncle Reese, he really was like my father growing up. Like he was always there to be around. He was my football coach, basketball coach. He was always, and he ain't take it easy on me either. It wasn't no, because you my nephew, you don't gotta. No, because you my nephew, you gotta do better than everybody else. Then I had another uncle, Uncle Lily, but then we had people like, man, Jason Scrub. Like that's like my big brother. Like he was always there for us. Mr. Eddie, Dr. Eddie Woods, if y'all know No More Red Dots.
Mm.
Before he actually started that, he had a whole nother group that he was teaching us. He helped a lot of us who was in some of the gang activity in our younger days. He used to be the one who would sit us down, him and Mr. Norman. All right, look, it's what y'all doing. It's where y'all gonna end up at. And then some of us actually had to go. He still would help us through the transition and try to get us. And then he'll talk to us though. Sometimes he would have an opportunity to save us from certain situations, but he will let us know, like, no, I told you 2 or 3 times. You didn't listen. So I'm gonna show you it's what's gonna happen. Sitting there. We can call him and everything. Hey, where you at? Okay, how many days? Oh yeah, I'll talk to you in a week. Because he'll let you know, like what he was doing was teaching us accountability. You can't keep making excuses for your pops not being around, or for you not having no money or no food at the house, or you not being. It don't matter. At some point, you as a man have to stand up and make things better for yourself. If you keep saying, my mama did this, my daddy did this, I don't got nobody to do this, you gonna do that throughout your whole life, and you're not gonna never live because you too focused on the past. He always made us focus on the future. Like one of the main things he used to say to us was, peace is the most inexpensive security. Mm-hmm. So worry about like the peace of mind. Like whatever that you do, you realize you plant a seed. So whatever seed you plant, it's gonna get watered, and it's gonna come back to you tenfold. So you better make sure you plant a good seed. Mm-hmm. And if not, I mean, you're okay.
So why do there's gangs? Why do people join gangs? Is it because they don't have a sense of belonging? And with this brotherhood, they want to be a part of that. Why is that? Do you know?
I feel like it's a little bit of definitely belonging to something, knowing that you have other people who are going to be around you on a daily basis, and you feel like no matter what y'all go through, that y'all go through it together versus you going through it by yourself. Mm-hmm. And then another thing is just like wanting somebody to like believe in you. No matter if it's a negative thing or what, you want somebody to like care about you enough to call you, care about you enough to put you in a position to make your tomorrow better than your yesterday. You want somebody to like who's just there, because a lot of these younger generation now ain't nobody there. Sometimes the parents are working a whole lot. Sometimes they partying a whole lot. Sometimes it's the kids is being raised by the grandparents. The grandparents is older. They barely raise their kids. Now they doing what they can, but if you 60 and you trying to raise a 13-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 9-year-old, and they doing all these other things, you might not even have the finances to do anything. So you you give them shelter. I mean, but everything else they gotta get on their own. Right. So if anybody, if they don't have like no one to give them something inside of the household that is tangible that they can utilize, somebody outside is gonna give them to them. So they're gonna go to whoever's giving them that attention.
And so I've heard, back in the day, especially teenagers. I love teenagers, especially teenagers. They just need to know that you care. They don't care what you know, how many degrees you have. They don't care about that. They just need to know that you care. Is that still true?
That's definitely still true. Okay. I just went and talked to a group of kids, Josh Toomer, in the ACE project. So they exposed those kids to a lot of different opportunities. So the last 2 weeks that I was around them or whatever, they was just on real estate. So of course they took them to the site where there was a project manager renovating the property. They showed them, and then when they came to me, we talked about what it looks like from a real estate agent standpoint of being in real estate, and then also what a finished property looks like, and then how to invest. Why is it important to own a property? What it's so just that alone, even though some of the kids there wasn't trying to listen at first, they were still there. Like they were still soaking up some of the information. And then at some point, we just have to be able to sit down and allow them to talk. A lot of times kids hear shut up and adults talking, or I don't need to hear nothing back. Which sometimes there does need to be boundaries, mm-hmm. But we also have to let them like express their emotions, express their thought processes, so that way we can teach them uh, better ways to process. Or sometimes we just might need to listen to what they got to say.
Right, right. I know a lot of times, I've taught, teenagers for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and what I have found that everybody learns different. So
Yeah.
sometimes, because they were acting like they don't want to listen. What I have found is like sometimes if there's a teenager that has their head down, they want it to be perceived that they're not listening, but they really are.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you can't just assume the way you learn is the same way that other people learn. And
Yeah.
there's reasons why they don't want everybody else to know that they really are listening and
Yeah.
they really are paying attention.
Yeah,
So
definitely, yeah.
there's that too. Okay, so you graduated from high school, and do you play football in college?
So I did lose my scholarship for K State, my football scholarship to K State. Then I was going to go play football at Lane down in Tennessee. We get down there, I done already met the coach. We getting everything ready. We about to, it's my first day there. They send everybody home from Louisville because they say it's something messed up with the transcripts. So they feel like someone was fraud, or they feel like whatever else. So after I came back, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not even doing the. So I didn't do like a whole season in college or none of that. Like I did a couple practices and it was a wrap. So I lost my scholarship, and then I lost that opportunity too. So by the time I came back, I was already kind of doing parties and kind of doing marketing earlier. So I just came back and just went to that. Shouts out to DJ LaCar for putting your brother on, because I needed it. For real.
All right, so we lose our scholarship, we come back home, and then we start DJing, doing parties, and
I didn't DJ. He would DJ. So DJ LaCar was the DJ, and then it was Ant and Fat Matt. They were like the promoters, so they was all together, right? And then they separated and would start doing parties on their own. But I was doing like marketing and promotion at first, just doing flyers for both of them, and then I started learning how to actually market to the crowds. I started, so then they was doing 18 and under, 18 and over, and then some 25 and older. So I'm getting experience in all of these different demographics on how to get their attention, what works best for this. So I'm like learning, but from the jump of it, all I know is he's gonna pay me a little bit of money to pass out all of these flyers. I get into the party for free, and I get to hang. I get to hang around. So it's a win-win. But then I actually started learning after a while, like, okay, dang, so y'all pay somebody how much to do what? I can do it, bro, and I know more people than him. So then he's like, yeah, but it's what you gotta do. Like, it's a difference between you just doing it to be doing it and you actually doing it as a profession. Like, so then he actually started sitting me down, teaching me how to do certain stuff, showing me different methods. And then Ant and Fat Matt from Four Brothers, they started doing it too. So then I'm actually figuring out, like, okay, I'm making money doing something that everybody else pays to do. So now I'm like, okay, I ain't the smartest man in the world, but I like it. I like this. So that's where my like marketing like background started coming into play. Like that's where it really started building. And I started learning, and I got to meet people. I'm meeting artists. I'm talking, but I've always been a sponge. I'm smart. I'm not with the low hanging fruit. So even with me being around the celebrities, they're taking pictures and all of it. That's cool. Bro, how you making much money? Or when you like
that part.
So you got this money. So what would you do? Because I'm not used to being around nobody who got some money. It's different when having street money. You having actual clean money in the bank. So I'm learning from these people, and you can kind of get a sense of like, all right, artists start doing this, and then they disappear. Artists start doing this, but then you see these artists that keep building, or you see these other businessmen keep building. So it becomes it's not that they don't have the opportunity to do it, they just don't have the principles and foundations in place. So I'm just learning from them, like, okay, bet. So really, once you make 250,000, you can make a million. You just got to be disciplined and have those principles and that foundation in place. Anybody can make the money. You see how many people in the NFL, NBA, baseball, they didn't made a little money and went broke.
That part.
Yeah, but those people who stay above water, who stay flourishing, who stay like multiplying, it's because they got principles set in place. And I watch ET every day. Listen to me every day. So ET, Earn Your Leisure, Tonight's Conversation, the Whiteboard Finance. So I just started accumulating a whole lot of knowledge.
And so how important, and so that's such a critical piece, because this day and age, it's 2023. So change your environment in this day and age.
Yeah.
just means change the information that's coming
Yes.
into your mind,
Yeah.
whether that's
That's
listening to podcasts, whether that's reading books.
yes.
How important is exposure? The exposure that you've had to the artist
Yeah.
and the guy who was teaching you the street marketing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it street marketing,
Yeah.
but it was how
Yeah.
you were able to learn and how you probably learned best. If you had gone to Kentucky State, and no shade on Kentucky State,
Yeah.
but if you had gone to a college for a marketing degree, it may or may not have worked out for you.
Yeah, what?
You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so you needed the street marketing pass, but the exposure, how important is exposure to our young people?
It's like extremely vital because it removes the glass ceiling from where it's at. If they feel like everyone around them is no shade towards nobody, they feel like everybody around them is on Section 8 and they just live in these areas, it's just how they live. They feel like this is just life. It's just what it is. But if they get exposed to somebody else who's making 75,000 a year and they're running their own business and they're able to go out of town and they're so now they like, man, if they doing that, but he's doing, let me go see what he's doing. Then you start to like see like, okay, boom, they're doing this, he's doing this, and then you can start looking at it like, okay, it's really just habits that's really keep people from getting outside of their norm. So when you expose someone to something different, it allows them to think greater of themselves. So someone else who looks like me or comes from where I come from is able to do that. Why can't I?
Exactly.
So
tell me how you get from the street marketing with the promotions to real estate agent.
Okay, so my broker, she wasn't, I didn't know her back then though, Chantel Newton and Marcus. So my wife's cousin's husband, Marcus, and Chantel came together and they were starting a real estate broker. So I've been knowing him because I'm married into the family just like he is. So we conversed and he was like, man, I want you to come in and basically come down and sit and talk with us. We want to, propose a opportunity for you. All I hear is opportunity. Like, what you need me to do? Like,
I just heard one word.
Listen,
opportunity.
Because like in like Google, how they got keywords. When I talk to people, it's certain keywords. Opportunity. So now I'm just waiting for him to finish talking so I can say yes. So once he did that, we came to sit down and they were just telling me about what all that they were going to be doing and what all they were needing to do. And then it was like, okay, well, I got background in this, so I know how to promote a product. I know how to promote a service, but with it being real estate, I don't have any tangible experience in that, but I'm sure I can learn. So
I love that, but I'm sure I didn't have any experience with real estate.
Yeah,
but I call it transferable skill set.
Definitely,
you have marketing, marketing.
Yeah.
So all you need to do is bring those marketing skill sets over to real estate.
Yeah,
love that.
Yeah. So once we came in and sat down, as they talking, it's blowing my mind because I never met anyone in real estate. First of all, nobody in my family had owned a house like in Kentucky. I think I had one auntie and uncle who owned the house in like Columbus, Ohio, and then we had a cousin in New Jersey who owned the house. That's not nothing that we know about. So I'm already intrigued because I'm like, they talking about stuff that I don't know about, so I need to listen. So I'm already trying to elevate my surroundings. So I'm just soaking up the game. We talking, and then as they talk, I'm like, that seemed like something. I'm like, that seemed like something I could do. Boom, I start. They had me on a trial basis doing marketing. I did good. I'm talking about out the gate because I'm hyped. I'm like, bro, I don't know why they told me I can do this, but I can do this. Man, listen. After I seen what I was like, I got paid. I'm telling you, listen, I got a check.
So hold on. So how did they pay you? Did they give you a flat rate, or a lot of times real estate agents are paid off a commission? But you were doing the marketing, so did they give you percentage, or did they just pay you a flat rate?
No, it was a flat rate because I wasn't an agent. Okay. I was just I wasn't licensed. I wasn't anything. I just was somebody coming in to help them market the new real estate brokers that they were starting.
Oh, okay.
So it was just a flat rate. And I was just like, man, y'all giving me this? So I'm like, are you sure it's what it's supposed to look like? I'm like, okay, cool. So then that got me more motivated because now I'm talking to her. She's like, okay. She's like, Chantel, really, you was sitting me down like, okay, let's talk twice a week on what I can do to help you, what you can do to help me, what are we gonna do to get from A to Z. So now I'm like really being around them more often. And then I'm like, hey man, I got a question. So I'm just asking questions. But then one time, I don't know what property it was, but it was like I done a marketing little package for it, put it out. They got it on the contract in like probably under 12 hours. So they came to me, was like, feel me, thank you. So I'm like, oh, you give me all this for the. How much would it be if I was the one selling them? So they feel me, they showed me how to. I said, I can get this. Man, listen to me. I said, man, I'm ready to sign up for be a real estate agent. I'm ready to sign up to be a real estate agent. I'm listen to me. I'm telling you. They showed me how. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready to sign up. Like, I cut off everything I had to do. I signed up at night. I didn't actually start that night, but I signed up for real estate school like that night. It was a wrap. You don't get. I worked at Ford, so I'm like, we get one of these little bonuses like once or twice a year or something. You do this every time you gotta. Oh yeah, let's get there. Let's run that up real quick.
So you started working at Ford somewhere in the midst of that. You're working at Ford and marketing at the same time.
Yep.
And then once you started doing well with it, and then it sounds like they started blessing you as well, and you realized, hey, I can do this.
They started blessing the brothers. Yeah, not for real. Like they started blessing me, and I started realizing, like, all right, well, maybe it is more than I can do. Cause I've owned businesses before. I've done clothing lines. I've done a marketing, like marketing promotion, not firm, but kind of like it. So I've done that but the return on the investment,
the ROI.
You feel me? That's a term I learned early. The return on the investment was substantially higher. So I'm like, I get it was a wrap. I'm telling you, don't got to tell me. And at that time, Ford had us working like 6 to 6, 4 days a week.
Hot, sweating.
Listen, you can take an ice cube, throw it in the air, it'll evaporate. It don't even come back down. That's how hot it was in there. And they had us doing, listen, it was, but I learned young, we don't have that access to a lot of different opportunities. We don't have access to a lot of different things. So if I'm able to provide for my family and I just got suffered for a little bit, I'm okay because I don't look at it as I never looked at me working at Ford as me being a Ford employee. Like I'm an independent contractor. I work for my family.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm an independent contractor. I work with my family, so the whole time I don't care about what's going on in here. I don't got to hear no rumors. And y'all can, and this is facts. Y'all can ask anybody who worked there for with me. I was on A crew first, then I was on C crew. Y'all ask anybody. I had my headphones on and I'm working. Most times I didn't even know the break. Third break is like different. It's prorated depending on how many hours they're gonna make us work. I didn't even know they attack. Hey, dudes, we going on break. All right, that's cool. I'm gonna go to the gym, come back, or sometimes I just take a nap right there in the corner. I'm good. I really don't care what else is really going on in here. I'm just here for right now.
This is temporary. So you just knew Ford was just temporary.
It was a stepping stool, and I try to tell everybody, don't be naive to think you don't need a 9 to 5. You need a 9 to 5 until you don't need the 9 to 5 money. The 9 to 5 should be a step, so you should be able to work, provide for your family, take care, and then do something else outside of it to start building your career as whatever that you want to be.
Okay, so let's double click into that because that's what we do here on the Dana Spencer Show. We double click into, and then that's one of our topics, one of our pillars is double clicking into quitting corporate. So and for your scenario, we're going to consider Ford as corporate.
That's cool.
So you're working at Ford, you're making good money at Ford, and then it's relative.
Yeah.
And then you're over here doing marketing on the side for this brokerage company.
Yes.
So, and we've heard, you have to save 6 months worth of your expenses, yada, yada, yada. What did that transition look like and you're no longer at Ford, correct?
No, I've been gone for May the 28th was my 12-month mark of being a full-time entrepreneur.
Shout out to that.
Yeah,
so for those people who are out there who they're at some of these corporations, and they know that that job is not their calling. That
Mhm.
is not their God-given purpose.
Right.
What are some steps that they can do in order to do something else?
First thing, write it down and make a plan. You gotta know what your goal is for you to actually start working towards your goal. If you just thinking and like I'm gonna do this, but then you might wake up tomorrow and you might feel different.
Yeah. Oh, feel. Yeah.
Like
Feelings.
I don't work on feelings at
Oh,
all. Like
facts.
even like that's something I once I started going to therapy, that's something I really had to start like working through. I don't operate in feelings. Feelings really literally has no like it has no boundaries or anything on nothing that I do. So
And that okay, we have to take a time out right there
My
real
bad.
quick, because with the flight assessment we talk about, and that's the flight attendant.
Yeah.
Those are people who their behavioral preference is based off of how they interact and influence people. Okay. And so a lot of feelings, a lot of in their emotions. Okay. And one of the things that I teach with real estate is that you can't lead with your emotions, and you can't lead with what you feel like doing. I'm sure you felt that in football, right?
Yeah.
You can't base what you do off of your feelings. How important is it to not operate in your feelings?
It's man, I don't even know, can't put it into words. But it's just don't do it. Don't do it. Because your feelings will put a different pair of glasses on your eyes when you're looking at something. So if you wake up one day in a good mood, you might feel like doing everything, giving it 100% for the day. Right? The next day you might not wake up in a good mood. You might feel like only giving 50%. So, but to you, you gave your best for the day, right? But you really only gave 50%. So now at the end of the day 2 mark of the week, when you're supposed to be at 200% completion, you only at 150. And we know time is the commodity we don't get back.
Right.
So you got to make every day count. So I just don't operate in feelings. Like I said, my uncle was my football coach, my basketball coach. We had other coaches around us. We didn't. It ain't no feelings on none of it. Like we played through pain. We played through being tired. We played through being sick. You played through you being hungry. You play through like the weather outside. It doesn't matter when the game start. You are expected to do certain things. There's a certain level of expectation for you to produce, regardless of whatever else is going on. And I just use that in my actual life. Regardless of what's going on, we gotta produce. Regardless of what's going on, my family gotta be fed. My family gotta be taken care of. Because you know why? You know who don't got emotions? Bills. Bills don't got no emotions. They don't care about you being sad. They don't care about you being upset. They don't care about you didn't get enough sleep. They don't care about you. They not heard none of it.
LG&E don't care about your feelings?
Yeah, listen.
Oh, that's a news flash right there. LG&E does not care about your feelings.
Yeah, call them and tell them you don't feel like paying this money. Watch what they do. Clip straight out.
You better get them candles together.
Man, listen to me. They coming for you. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
All right. I'm sorry. So the steps on how to go from I know that this job is not my God-given purpose to walking in your purpose.
Okay, so like I said, I've always had various businesses. I've always done side hustles, as you can say. I had to learn the correct terminology too. As I got in real estate, I had to start using terminology. Some of y'all need to stop saying y'all got businesses. Y'all got side hustles. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. I'm sorry, but it's not. Just saying. So I had a couple side hustles. I had a clothing line. I used to clean carpets. I used to help people move. I used to do moving and hauling. I still was doing marketing for other companies and other places while I was at work. I still was doing a lot of other things while I was at work. But I would definitely say me talking to James Kelly. He's like a financial guru. He's like like a real entrepreneur. Like his brother been an entrepreneur for like longer than my kids been born. So dude basically was like, it's what you gotta do. To be able to get her. Okay, let me take a back step. You don't want to quit your job and do your career or your profession and be in the same financial situation you was in while you was at your job.
That's good.
You don't
That's
want to,
good.
because then you basically just being stagnant. You could have just stayed
You
at your
could.
job.
Right. Right.
At least at your job, you know, when you clock out, you done. You
Yeah.
can chill. As
Okay.
an entrepreneur, you know,
You don't clock out.
yeah. So it was a budget, and actually being real with yourself to let yourself know what you need to work on.
Mm.
If you spending money and you're not making that money back, you're wasting it. And this is something I tell people. It might sound harsh. Remember, I don't operate in emotions. I'm off of logic and production. That's anything else outside of it. It's not. It don't really go into my. Don't work 5 days just to blow it in two. Don't work for 5 days and then spend all your money on the weekend. Or every time it's a 3-day weekend or a holiday, don't feel like you got to get a new outfit, new pair of shoes, go out of town, rent a car, go out to eat. You didn't spend enough that you could have put that in your savings. And then, because if I just done it for me, I've been broke, I've been homeless, I've been poor. If you really put yourself on a budget and stay disciplined for 90 days, you can catapult your life 3-4 years into the future.
Wow.
I'm telling you. And this is someone who, like I said, I was making decent money at Ford. We was doing about 75,000 a year, right? Okay, that's decent. Other people feel like they make a good enough amount of money that they go buy boats, but they live in an apartment. They Every time a new car come out, they feel like they got to update. Every time a new phone come out, they feel like they got to update. Every break, they going to go buy something to eat. Every time a shoe come out, they got to buy that. But then they complain if at the end of the month or if they don't get a raise. Dang, I thought I was going to make this amount. I don't got nothing left but this, bro. You didn't spend every extra dollar that you had. You don't have no time, no money to invest.
And that's what they say. And that as Black people, we are consumers. Yeah. We spend the most money.
Facts.
And we need to have the mindset to where we are producers instead of consumers. Like we're producing something that we can monetize.
Yeah.
So in terms of, and I've also heard that, live off of 30% of your salary. So if you make and this is new, this is a news flash, right? So if you make $100,000, if you live off of 30%, that means you're living off of $30,000 a year and potentially saving $70,000. And we know taxes and all that.
Yeah.
But we got to do some things differently. We can't do what we always done, because what we've always done has kept us stagnant. So how do we get out of this and do some different things so that we can have a different outcome, so that we can, have generational wealth, so we can buy property to pass on to the next generation, so the next generation can be up, instead of this, I make $1,000, I'm spending the whole thing, I'm not saving anything, I'm not getting anywhere. How do we get out of this rat race?
So Einstein said to do the same things over and over and expect something different is insanity, right? If you always do what you always done, you're gonna always get what you always get. So just because you have money available doesn't mean you have to spend it. Right. So we have to start thinking long term. So many people still on like you only live once, live in the moment. Like, no, you have to plan for the future. You have to like put yourself in a position to be able to take advantage of opportunities that might come your way. We got to hold ourselves more accountable financially, mentally, spiritually, and as a family unit. We got to hold ourselves more accountable. We have to stop. Okay, let me say what we have to stop doing. Let's say we should start doing. We should start writing a budget and having a plan for the money before it hits our account. We should, if you have trouble with saving money or budgeting or putting it where it needs to be at, they have apps and other stuff. You can even call your bank and let them know when you get paid, take a certain amount of money out of this account, move it to this account. And you can set up like things to protect yourself. If you get a direct deposit, you can have it set up where 50% of it goes into your actual personal account, and then the other 50% goes into a savings account. And then it says, you can also set up other stipulations where you're not allowed to pull out any money out of this account, but once every 90 days or like whatever. You can set it all up. So then you start doing things like, okay, if I know because if you tell yourself you got $1,000 to spend, you're gonna find a way to spend $1,500. It's just like I don't know what it is, but it's gonna happen. So if you tell yourself you only have $500 to spend, and then you really only have $500 disposable in that account, it's gonna make you think like, okay, maybe I don't need to go out to eat. Maybe I don't need to go out for drinks after work. Okay, dang, well, if I pay all my bills, I'm only gonna have $75 left. Maybe I don't need to ride around with my friends on the weekend, or instead of me going home chilling and reading, going home planning for your next investment, instead of you going home obtaining new information, you out blowing money, blowing time, blowing energy, blowing opportunities, and your days are just blowing past you. If you in the same situation the day that you was in 90 days ago, you're not living, you're existing. There's a difference. Just because you're around doesn't mean that you're being productive. Just because you're here doesn't mean you're actually living. It just means like you was her.
Right. So I'm Facebook friends with Deuce, and every other day, no, not every other day, every day he's getting accepted offers.
Man.
He's closing. He's for sale signs sold with people. All over the place, like every single day.
Yeah.
So tell us about your success with real estate and like how you gotten here.
Man, 2 words I can sum it up. But God, it really ain't. I'm not gonna say like I don't put in the work, because I definitely put in the work. But God gotta have His favor on me, because I didn't have no experience in real estate. I don't have no. So I think the fact that I keep God first in all of my decisions, I conduct myself with honor, and like in Christ's honor, like my integrity for treating others as I would want them to treat my family, just allows me to do better, I guess. I don't know. But I will tell you, I put in hours though, y'all. When I was working at Ford, I was working 6 in the morning to 6 p.m. I'm getting off, whether it's raining, snowing, it could be a fire outside. I'm still showing houses until my client is ready to go home. It's been times I would wake up for work at 4:30 in the morning, be at work at 6. And I'm not saying wake up at 6, be on the line at 6 o'clock. Work till 6 p.m. Get off, go show houses until 9:30 p.m. on the phone and emailing, submitting offers until 10:30, and then back up at 4:30 the next day. Like I put in work.
So that's the part you don't see on social media, right? I say social media is the highlight reel.
That's it.
Right?
That's
it's the highlight reels. It's not the, I got to bed at 10:30 and I got to get up at 4:30.
Damn, see it. They don't. And any of y'all who see me or any of y'all who know me, y'all can ask any client that I've dealt with, any person I've talked to. I've really put in more hours. Like I'm trying to get my 10,000 hours done so I can start on my next 10,000 hours. I'm showing houses. I'm going to meet with clients. If you can't meet me, we can do this over the phone. If we can't do this over the phone, do you need me to come to your job? Do you need me to come to your house? If like, what can I do to give you the information? I don't make anyone make any decisions either. I give y'all the information, show you all your opportunities, show you whatever is on the table that's available for you. Let you make a decision. You can ask me my advice, but I would never make a decision for anybody.
All right, and for those of us who are number people, throw some numbers out there for us. So this is what July to, it's 12, and no telling when you're gonna see this. So let's just say it's 7 months into the year.
Okay.
Like, the $1 million agent and the $5 million agent. Give us some numbers on your stats.
Okay, so this year I need to go count for real, but I know the last time I checked, I closed 18 transactions. Probably. I'm trying to think. Probably about almost 2 million, if not already 2 million. I do got 4 transactions like pending right now though. So depending when you see this, like I'm waiting on clear to close on 4 of them right now.
4. So let's just say 6 months for easy math. You say you done close on 18. 6 months, that's 3 closings a month, and you've only been in real estate for how long?
This is my 2nd year.
When I tell you that's phenomenal, that's phenomenal. $2 million, that is phenomenal. I'm just going to, confession is good for the soul. I was a real estate agent about 20 years ago. I needed about 2 closings a month to stay afloat financially.
Yeah, yeah.
But it just wasn't happening. People, you would show people houses and they would quit their jobs, and it just wouldn't work. Like I almost lost my own house going through that process. So So what for the people who are out there who want to be a real estate agent because they see your highlight reels?
Yeah, I'll be getting that inbox all the time too. I'm thinking about getting into real estate. I want to do this. I want to be an agent. Like y'all, it might look easy, but it's really not. I'm not telling nobody not to get in real estate. You should have some type of insight or some type of skin in the game in real estate, but you don't got to be a real estate agent. You can be an appraiser, you can be an inspector, you can be a contractor, you can be a mortgage loan officer. You could be like, there's so many different ways to be in it. But as a real estate agent, y'all, listen to me, y'all. It's not easy. You gonna put in that work, and like she said, sometimes when things don't go right, it's really out of your control. Remember when I said you gotta only control what you can control?
Yeah.
Like I've been to the point to where we're supposed to close on a property. I'm getting ready to head to the closing. I get a call. The buyer can't complete the transaction because their financing fell through because they went and bought a new car the day before we were supposed to close. Or they spent their deposit money out of town. Or the seller don't want to sell the house no more. Like I've been through a lot of different situations.
So this is outside of the 18 closings. Yeah. So if everything had gone well, he probably would have had 50 closings. But just so you understand, so give me 3 to 5 skill sets that you think that someone who is thinking about getting started somebody who's thinking about getting started being a real estate agent. Yeah. What are 3 to 5 skill sets that they need to have?
First thing you got to do is be consistent. Like success is in your routine. You can't only put in hours 2 days a week and expect for you to get something accomplished by it, because it's a numbers game. Mm-hmm. Out of 100 people you talk to, maybe 50 of them might apply to get their mortgage. Maybe 25 of those might actually get approved. Maybe 15 of them might be happy with what they got approved for. Maybe 10 of them actually go through the process. 5 of them might actually get on the contract. 2 of them might get to the closing table. You didn't did all of those, so you gotta stay consistent. Like it doesn't matter what else is going on, you gotta still be who you supposed to be, so that when the next opportunity comes, you're better prepared for it. Another one I would say is, don't never stop learning. You can always learn. You can always get better. You can always enhance your information. You can always enhance your resources. You can always enhance yourself. Like you can get better as an agent by reading more, going around other agents who've been doing it longer, putting yourself in different environments, just being open to talk to people and figuring out their situations. Another one would be, don't get too happy with sleep. Like you want to make sure that you have sleep. Like set a schedule. I'm gonna just say it. Set a schedule. Give yourself boundaries on when you should sleep and when you should work.
You mean you don't have to have 8 to 10 hours a day?
Who? 8 to 10? Sheesh. Not listen. Especially with the market on fire. No, I didn't left. Listen to me, y'all. I'd have been in bed with my wife watching one of her favorite shows. This property just got on the market. All the offers got to be in by 9 o'clock in the morning. You got to be somewhere at 8 in the morning. You're not going to be able to show it. Your client just got out of work. They work second shift. They're not going to be able to see it tomorrow. So guess what we doing at 7:30 at night? Going to go look at a house that's 25 minutes away. So work. That's another thing. You work. Don't be afraid of hard work, but work smart. But also know it's going to be some work into it. It's going to be some work into it. You ain't nothing. Don't nothing come to a sleeper but a dream. Nothing. So make sure you ready for this grind though. Make sure you ready for this grind. Like y'all hear my phone been going off the entire time. I probably talk to at least 200 people a day. Email, phone, text, Facebook Messenger, DM, Twitter. Like my phone constantly rings. Like be ready to work. Like you're gonna have to work to get this, especially getting started. Like my homie Marcus, he always tell me like the hardest part is getting uphill. getting started, pushing it. But once you get to the top at a peak and you start to come downhill, everything you work for it's gonna start picking up. It's gonna start getting bigger. Everything's gonna start falling into place. But if you give up before they start falling into place, I mean, that's it. This would probably be one of the most important parts too. Do not think that because you are a entrepreneur or a real estate agent that you are your own boss, because you're not. You have to have the same courtesy, respect, and love for real estate with every client. Because if you treat one client wrong, they might terminate their contract or they might feel like you done them wrong. But that one person can tell 5 people you done them wrong, and that word of mouth is gonna kill you out.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
So you like like you have to treat everyone with the same amount of love, courtesy, respect, and have clear communication from the jump. Sit down with your client, let them know what you expect for them to do. Ask them when they expect to be able to, like, what are good showing times, what are good areas that they like. Figure out what they actually can afford versus what they want. Because it's gonna be some of them who won't Moet or Deuce, but can only afford J. Roget. And that's not a knock either. It's just you got to be transparent and you got to be professional enough to let these people know, like, okay, I know this is what you want, but you realistically you might not be able to afford this. So let's figure out a plan to get you in something that you can actually afford. So yeah, you're gonna be a part-time therapist. You're gonna be a little part-time therapist. You ain't gonna be a licensed therapist, but you're gonna have some moments.
Wow, those are some nuggets. Y'all gonna have to listen to this and take notes. And I got 2 more questions, and I'm gonna let you go.
That's cool.
So, you talked about your wife, and I know you have children.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't like the word balance. So and you talked about, being in the bed with your wife and y'all watching TV, but you got to still get up and go work.
Yeah.
How are you able to have the right rhythm when it comes to dad, husband, real estate agent? How are you able to move and shake and have everything so nothing falls?
Communication. Mm-hmm. That's really it. That communication. Like I've had, especially when the market was on fire last year. Can you imagine trying to juggle 15 clients at one time? The houses wasn't even on the market for 12 hours before they was gone. So I'm literally showing houses. Like, it's been a week where I've showed maybe 150 houses in a week. It's really just communication. Like my daughters, if y'all see me, most times I'm either with my wife, with my daughters, or with both of them. Y'all probably rarely don't see me by myself. My daughters, they go to showings with me. I show them how everything is going. Like, it's been times where we have to stop what we're doing to go handle something that is immediate. So I try to balance it, but there's also times where we set a schedule to where, okay, on these days, after this time, it's a wrap. They just gonna have to wait till tomorrow. And we try to keep Sunday completely blocked out, but obviously, that's the open house days.
Yeah,
that's the days where, a lot of offers might be in. So it's just really clear communication. We try to keep everything as good as possible. And I reward them for going through this with me because we're living life together. So I'm not perfect. I'm not going to do everything right. I'm not going to. Shoot, we just had a heated conversation maybe about a week ago. You didn't stop this. We didn't miss this. We supposed to do this. You trying to rush us to finish up here at Top Golf so you can go show houses. Or you want us to? I'm sorry, but it's like I feel like I'm still trying to go up here. Like, we got, you feel me? Y'all get the perks of it, but it's just a communication. Like, you feel me? Sometimes my daughters know, baby, I would like for me to be able to do that, but I'm not. I'm gonna be showing houses all day. Y'all can ride with me. I'll get y'all some Wendy's while we out, or some Chick-fil-A, or Smoothie King, or something. I gotta reward them but they going through it with me.
Right. Do you think that because I know when I was selling real estate and having my son with me, like, people would be asking him his opinion or whatever. Are your daughters, do they have any interest in real estate?
Definitely, both of them. Both of them. Like if you ask them now, they like both of my daughters said that they're not going to college. Daddy, I'm not going to college. I'm gonna own a business and I'm gonna be in real estate. Daddy, you said you gonna get us property. So if I can really make money off those properties, why do I need to go to college to learn to work for somebody else? Because we talk to our daughters.
How old are your daughters?
11 and 10.
Oh wow.
So we have real conversations because they've seen daddy, who was a supervisor working 75 hours a week, coming home barely able to sit at the table to eat with them and barely break even at the end of the month. They've seen daddy who's been at Ford working nonstop. When I first was at Ford, we worked 6 days a week, like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., like 6 days a week. There wasn't no, so they've seen like what it's like to, and keep in mind, I have a college degree. I have manager and supervisor experience. I have connections with other people. But I mean, when you got to put food on the table, you don't get that many choices.
Right.
So yeah, so we talk and they able to see the lifestyle that we're all able to live now due to real estate. Like my daughter's got businesses now. They got a candy stand, they got a vending machine. My youngest daughter, she got she makes beads like bracelets, waist beads, anklets. My oldest daughter, we about to get her kit and stuff. She ready to start restoring shoes. We do entrepreneur for real. My wife is a DJ. They've been trying to talk her into becoming a fitness trainer. We really do entrepreneurs like streams of income.
Right.
It ain't no play. And my wife been at Ford for almost 10 years. It ain't no play. It's just real work.
So if we had to put a bow on this conversation, and it has been an amazing conversation, if we had to put a bow on it, what's the one thing that you want to tell our listeners?
If you want to do something, write it down, make it plain, put it somewhere you can look at every day. Wake up and go get it. Because a lot of times it's not that you don't have the information, it's just you're not applying it when you should. Information is one thing, but the application is a totally different situation. What they say, knowledge is knowing the information, but wisdom is using the information. So use the information. That's it. You know what you've been doing ain't been working, right? Just saying, try something different.
I couldn't have wrapped it up no better than that. Try something different. Y'all got it here. Thank you so much, Deuce, for blessing us with your presence. Until next time, thank you for listening to the Dana Spencer Show.
Yes, ma'am.